Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Still Save Show, where we sit down with some of the dopest people in the city of Houston who have some of the most incredible stories of change. And boy, do I have a story for you today. Or maybe several, I don't know.
We got a couple.
We got a couple?
We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm your host, Just Dave, and today we're going to break down the breakthrough with my homie, my good friend, Isaiah. What it do, baby?
What's up, Dave? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. It feels good. I always feel good when I'm in your presence, man.
Man, listen, you are one of the people that I say are like really dope, very genuine. And so, you know, when this was even brought to me, I was like, of course, I got to do it, man. Like you're somebody that's really cool, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate that,
From the
man.
beginning.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
Well, you know what? That means a lot because the beginning, I have a story.
Okay. All right.
And you may know exactly where I'm going with
Let's
this.
hit it.
So, of course, we share a mutual friendship with my homie Mike Bishop.
Man. That's the guy.
You know, we go back to the SWAT.
That's the guy. Southwest St. Louis, Texas, all day long.
Yeah, baby. Hold up, what school did you go to?
I went to Bush Elementary, Owens Intermediate, and then I was going to Elsik for like 6 days, and then my family moved me to St. Louis.
Okay. We was almost here with the Elsic part, bro. But let's go back to that day we met. Man. Because I've been getting a lot of compliments about the photography and the content creation stuff, and I like to credit Bishop for a lot of that.
You definitely doing your thing, man.
Appreciate it, man. I get lucky sometimes. Yeah. But he introduced us. He put me on an event when I was just starting out. Yeah. I ain't have no real gear. I had like a Canon DSLR, bro.
Yeah, this is true.
He was like, hey, man, my homie, he does this thing. And he was like, I think some of your people from the station, you know, Keisha was there, Keisha Nicole. Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. I feel comfortable with some folks there. I know. But I'm really like a novice in this content world, bro. Nervous. Yeah. And he sends me out to the session. Yeah. Right? Y'all had a dope experience, bro. Like Keith Jacobs was out there, the boy AJ McQueen. Like
good time.
Man, it was phenomenal.
Sadly, it never seen the light of day, but that was a good time.
It probably the reason it never saw the light of day, because I was the one creating the content.
It wasn't you.
Man, no, but I went out, I was nervous. You handed me a Sony A7 III. It's my first time touching that camera. Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing, bro. And I don't know if it looked like I didn't know what I was doing.
No, it didn't, honestly.
I called Bishop up. I was like, bro, I have no idea what to do. Like, this is nothing like the DSLR cameras I've ever used. I had my gimbal. I was fumbling with it in the back, bro. I was sweating. But somehow, some way, he coached me through it over the phone. I watched a couple quick YouTube videos in the back, and we were able to get the job done.
Yeah, man. No, it actually, like I say, it wasn't you. We actually had audio problems, so that was what kept it from coming out. It wasn't the video. Your video, and all of the other people that were there, it was easy. That was good.
Nah, man, it was definitely fun.
But I do appreciate, like, you know, you came through because Bishop actually couldn't make it.
Right.
And you came through and clutch, so it's more than appreciated, man.
Yeah, man. No, it was definitely a learning experience. And you know what, bro? Like, I've learned so much in situations like that. It's not something I recommend, but when people throw me out into the water, it's like sink or swim. And I know you've probably experienced that quite a bit.
Only way, honestly, I've ever thrived.
Yeah.
Even like when I started at the Fountain of Praise, so I worked at a church for over 10 years. When I came in, I had joined the church in late 2011. And I saw that they were doing this major event. And so I went up to the guy who was the audio engineer at the time, and I was like, hey, man, I want to help. And he was like, okay, cool. So he basically showed me basic stuff. I was still in college learning. I was going to college for music business, still learning and stuff. And he was like, hey, let me show you how to do this with the audio board, this, and that. And he was like, what do you want to do? I was like, man, I want to be the guy that controls all this. I don't want to just be on the audio. I don't just want to be on the cameras. I want to be the guy to call the shots. And he was like, oh, you got to know it all then. And so we went, and then something happened in his life where he had trained me for a year. Yeah, something happened in his life where he had to step back, and I literally was thrown in the fire. And I had to sink or swim. And a lot of times I felt like I was drowning. Yeah. But literally, I kept going, and boom. Now, 10 years in the game.
Yeah, man.
Working for a major church.
Come on.
And it was beautiful. But yeah, that was all my life I've had to sink or swim. And I feel like God's favor puts me in situations where he like, I got you though. everything I've been put in front of is like, oh, I can figure that out.
Yeah,
Or I
yeah.
have good people that I could call. I was calling people from Lakewood and Potter's house out. Hey man, I don't
Listen.
know how to daisy chain this thing, and he got XLRs to quarter inch. I don't know, and they were explaining everything. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's how it happens.
FaceTiming last minute, like, hey, bro,
Everything,
real
but
quick.
that's what happens when you're good to people, and
Yes,
people feel
yes.
comfortable enough saying, "Oh, I'll share my wisdom with you."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know,
straight
that's
up.
an important thing. So yeah, that being thrown in is the thing.
I love it.
It's the
No,
only way I've ever learned.
I've started to look for those type of opportunities. You
Yeah.
know, those new moments where it's like, this is a new lesson, new techniques, new skill sets. It's like, I ain't never tried this before. All right, bet, let's go.
I feel like honestly, if everybody really took a real approach to stuff, that when you walk into things, it don't matter how many degrees you have or how much somebody's prepared you for it. When you're in something new, it's still new. That's why when you go for jobs and stuff, they like, we want you to have experience and all of that because it's still new. So you still have to learn and be open to learning and being okay with not knowing it all, being okay with failing as well. People
Man,
are so afraid to fail.
dog, I'm
It's
telling you.
crazy.
Look, listen, when I had my first kid, and many of you know, I got 5.
You got a
That first
couple
one,
of
bro. All right, but anyway, man, you just got back from LA, bro. You was
did.
kicking it at the Grammys. How was that?
Man, that's another favorite story, man. So I have, everybody be like, I got connects in LA and New York and I got label. I
Look,
do, but honestly, when you get out there, everybody don't mess with you.
nah, of course
You
not.
could call, you could be like, hey, I'm coming out to LA. Oh man, we gotta do lunch. I'm going to this, you gotta come with me. You text, you call, silence. And that's okay. You're not putting no fault on nobody. People have lives, people have motion of their own. But that was favor, man. I went to LA on a hunch. I just was like, I didn't really desire to go to the Grammys themselves.
Right.
But if people really realize the real motion is in the pre-parties and the after parties.
Bro.
Because that's how you grow your net worth.
Exactly.
Which in essence it grows your net worth. But being around people and conversing and talking and getting people information and just making your face known to people. That was my desire for that weekend. And I knew I had a few ends. I had already sent some stuff for some parties and got in.
Yeah, yeah.
Some things I got denied. So cool. I still go to LA. I have this mentor of mine. I'll say her name, Ivy McGregor. Ivy McGregor's so dope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so she was like, Isaiah, I want you to come see what we're working on, come by the office, all of that stuff. So we did that. I'm thinking Ivy gonna get me because she works for Be Good vis-a-vis Beyonce. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm getting in the Rock Nation brunch. I'm going to the Rock Nation brunch. I'm going to LA. I'm going to go meet with Ivy. I'm going to Rock Nation brunch. I ain't go to Rock Nation brunch.
We didn't get into the Rock Nation.
I didn't
brunch.
get into the Rock
It's
Nation
all right.
brunch.
We can live vicariously
But-
through Toby and Fat.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
But what I did get into, so I went to some dope parties. I got to the Jasmine Sullivan thing. That was dope and amazing. It was one party that I really, really wanted to go to.
Yeah.
And it was the Adam Blackstone. And if anybody doesn't know who Adam Blackstone is the guy that plays bass guitar, but he's the MD for everybody. So he was Rihanna's MD for the Super Bowl. He did the All-Star situation that just passed.
Yep.
Last year's Super Bowl with DMX and not DMX, Dr.
Dre and
all of them. He was MD for Jill Scott, all that, blah blah blah. I knew going to that particular party was going to be the one that would put me to the next level.
Right.
And my homie Jaden Gray, who is on my music platform, The Session, he is very close with him. And he was like, bro, I'll try to get you in. They filled up. They ended up even moving to a bigger venue just to take the people that they already had. And they still was like, yeah, you can't come. So,
them calls never cease to amaze me, bro. You know how many?
So I had another party to go to. So I went and I was like, man, God just kept telling me, man, I said, go to that party. Go to that party. And I was like, I ain't got no in. I'm not on the list. I kid you not. I said, I'm not going to be here any longer. I'm going to try to go to the party. I called an Uber. The Uber pulled up to the thing. I get out the car thinking that I'm walking towards the entrance. I'm actually walking towards one of the exits. The security is there, and he's telling this couple, he's like, hey, y'all have to go to the front. And I don't even hear what they say, but he's like, it's cool, y'all come on. And then he points to me, he said, you come on too. I get in that party.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. I get in that party, and I'm talking with Tank. I'm talking with Amber Riley and Rotimi. I was hanging out with NLE Chopper, man. Like, it was like, but I knew that was the party to be. And so Tori Kelly remembers me from an award show that we worked on together. And she's like, I want to introduce you to this person at this label. So then we began to talk. So it snowballed into something where some great contacts, like Vito, he's going to be coming on the session in May. Like,
Vito, baby. Okay, my skills have gotten a little bit better.
Okay.
Can I come through?
You could come through.
I'll be ready.
Yeah.
Me and Woe, we gonna be there.
You could come through on the camera. I thought you was talking about your singing skills.
Oh, no.
But yeah, of course, you can always come through.
There will never, ever, ever, ever be a session with my vocals on it. Unless you need me to host that mug.
Listen, and that might be needed. But yes, of course, no, I need you. I need Woe. I need, when I built this thing, man, the session in particular, I wanted people that I really respected and rocked with. You got to be careful who you let into your brand and let into your circle. And so people like you with good energy, genuine vibes, that's the people you want, because you can have snakes in the garden and not know. Man. So I want to be able to feel like I can trust y'all to be around all of this, and I can trust myself to be myself, with y'all. So,
Yeah, you can just do your thing, man. Yeah, man. I mean, you were clearly, rubbing shoulders with some really, really cool people. And honestly, they were rubbing shoulders with a really cool person, right?
I appreciate that.
You had to introduce yourself quite a bit, I'm sure.
I did.
Tell me about that, man, because we kind of just dove right in. Mm-hmm. We kind of just dove right in. You know what I'm saying? We hinted at this thing that you call the session.
I do have that.
And, your experience in the music world and the industry. Like, we alluded to all of that. And I'm sure a lot of people listening are like, what the heck are we talking about? So with all those introductions and people that you met, when you do meet somebody at one of these parties or at a red carpet, you don't have a whole lot of time. How do you introduce Isaiah?
So, first of all, believe it or not, I actually have bad social anxiety, and I really hate talking to people. I'm very uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
But I realized that I didn't have a choice. I realized that I also had a gift for it. And it's funny how you can have a gift and a talent for something that you're not comfortable with.
Oh, bro.
But I literally, when I go up to people, my introduction is short. I was taught to do this several ways by several different people. Ivy McGregor's way has been the way that I've been doing for a while. But you literally she told me when you meet somebody, it's so many things that they want to know. And you got a short amount of time. So they want to know who you are, what you do, and what do you need from them. That's it.
Yeah. Because let's not beat around the bush.
Everything else is fluff. You're not up here trying to be my pen pal or have tea and crumpets. This is literally, what do you want? And so when I walked up to people, especially like I'll take Vito, for instance. I said, hey, man, love what you do. I think you're amazing. I have this music platform that I put on artists from all around, and I would really love to have you on there. I'm Isaiah. I can send you my stuff. I have social media that you can see what I've done. But my platform has had over 4 million views in a year and a half. It's grown rapidly. And so we get to talking, and it just expands from there. But also the key thing, you can't really introduce yourself the same way to everyone. So there are different introductions. So when I met the head of Empire Records, I was like, hey, how you doing? I'm Isaiah. I've worked with RCA and Atlantic Records, and I do A&R work, and then I have this music platform. Like, I just, you gotta, your introductions are different for who you're talking to, because some people don't care that you drew balloon animals and stuff. That's not interesting to some certain people, so.
That kind of sounds a little intriguing, bro. Like drawing balloon animals as opposed to making them.
Some people draw. Some people don't.
Okay, hold on, hold on. So Isaiah the Man, though. Isaiah the Man.
Yes.
How would you define and introduce that dude?
So I would be, hey, I'm Isaiah. I would probably say that, I'm from Texas, Houston, Texas to be specific. I grew up early in church. I was the youth choir director at 10.
Dang.
I'm a guy that like loves God, still working on me.
You know what I'm saying?
But and I would just, tell them all the things in the I feel like when you're introducing yourself, I really actually like to introduce more of what I see myself being. So what it is more like, hey, I'm going to do something big one day. Something bigger than I'm doing now or that I can even imagine. And so I usually typically talk more on what's next for me when I introduce myself to people just as me. Tell people how much I'm deep into music and love music.
Yeah.
And just not even the fact that I'm on the other side of music, but the music I like, things like that. So
Yeah.
that's how I would introduce myself.
What are you jamming right now?
Man, right now I'm jamming some of the New Walls group.
Of course.
Definitely got the Jonathan McReynolds joint. And then Daniel Caesar released something recently that I've been listening to.
Okay,
And this guy, Leon Thomas, if anybody doesn't know who he is, he's from Victorious, the Nickelodeon show back in the day. But he is a dope artist.
Okay.
That's about to blow up. If you haven't heard of Leon Thomas now, in about 8 months, you're going to know exactly.
Yeah. I love it. Man, so take me to the session, bro.
Okay.
Because you've been putting on some incredible artists.
I appreciate that.
And some amazing renditions. I'll tell you, one of my favorites was Tennessee Whiskey. Who did that? Spud did.
Howard.
And then hold up. Now, this is probably my all-time favorite.
Okay.
My boy Luke came through.
Luke did Sade. Was it No Ordinary Love?
That was fire.
Yeah,
that was fire.
Luke came in and killed it. The session is my baby.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So take me to the inception,
Okay.
where the idea came from, what it's all about.
Okay.
Right? Let's start there, bro.
The idea came from California.
Okay.
One of the things that I love and hate to do at the same time is hike. I'm afraid of heights. But it's something about facing that fear that opens my brain. I don't know what it is, but I'm actually very afraid of heights. And so hiking, listening to music, I was with my boys, and we all do this thing where we kind of joan each other on, man, you don't know who this artist is?
Yeah.
How you sleep? Like it's that. So we introducing artists to each other, messing with each other and everything. And it was this one artist who actually was the first artist I put on the session. And her name was Perry Jones. Perry Jones, dad is a famous artist. His name is Orange Juice Jones.
Okay.
He has a son that's a real dope rapper. Same thing. But I was on that, I was hiking, and I was listening to Perry, and I just was like, why doesn't the world know who Perry is? I didn't understand listening to the song because one thing I will say is I have a great ear for music. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. People could call it cocky or whatever, but I do have a great ear for music. So when I hear people that have the it factor, I just don't understand why haven't they made it yet. And I mean, I'm sure there's reasons. But when I was listening to it, I said, man, I want to create something that highlights the artist. And when I thought about it, I kind of went through several different things, but I knew I wanted to keep it simple.
Yep.
I knew I wanted you to feel like you just got to look at the artist. I didn't want a whole bunch of things in the background. I didn't want flashing lights. I wanted something simple. And then I knew I wanted it live. One of my pet peeves is so many, every video being a lip sync video.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just want to hear the raw and natural. And so, needless to say, when I wanted to do that, when I was hiking. That was in February. I didn't start the session till September.
Okay.
So February 2020, the pandemic hadn't hit yet.
Right.
I thought that I was going to also do this in front of a live audience.
Oh, okay.
And so the pandemic hit, and I was like, we were at the church actually, and we had to film everything. We had to film all the songs. We had to film the sermon and everything because people couldn't come into the sanctuary. And so I was like, well, why don't I just film the videos? And so I called up my homie, Michael Bishop, and I said, bro, I need 3 cameras. I'm going to go to this studio, and I'm going to get an artist, and I'm going to put them in the room, and I'm going to have them sing. I'm going to get the band. Tyrone was another key factor.
Man, no pun
And
intended. Another key factor.
Don't let me go away from Tyrone.
Yeah.
So brought Tyrone in, we did all of that, and then we recorded it, and I cried because Perry's dad said, you brought something out of her that I've never seen. And I sat there and just Corey Washington was the engineer. And I just sat there and I cried. And I was just like, wow. Because I knew I had something. I was like, thank you, God. Like, you actually, this is going to do something. And so that's how it started. You know, Perry, it was funny that Perry was the first thought in February, and then she lives in New York now, but happened to be in Houston just around that time that I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And so that's how it happened.
Yeah.
But I also going back to Tyrone, man, the power of connection, the power of God aligning you with the right people is like unspeakable. Man. It's scary how alignment and favor really works.
Yeah.
I've worked with several musicians, and no knock to any of them. I love them all, especially the ones that I'm really close to. I had barely worked with Tyrone.
Right.
We did a couple of things together, but me and Tyrone barely knew each other. And so I was like, hey, T, I got this thing I want to do. Can you help me? I just need you to play keys. Tyrone said, okay. I asked him, what's the pay?
Yeah.
He was like, man, just give me this. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I'll do this for this first one, but because everything still to this day pretty much has come out of my pocket. I was like, I'll do this for this first one, but T, I want to do this often, and I don't know if I'll be able to keep this up. But I'll do this for this first one.
Right.
So we did it. I picked the rest of the band, and Tyrone was the MD for it. And he set me aside and he said, hey man, let me handle the music.
Come on.
I said, okay. I said, what you say? You didn't like my band? I said, just let me handle this part. He said,
I got this.
And let me tell you something, which is why I say, and I don't think he'll mind me saying this, but from there, Tyrone was like, just pay the band. I didn't have to pay. I have not paid Tyrone for another session. Now, I have given Tyrone money just to be like, hey, man, appreciate you. Just because, but I haven't had to pay Tyrone for another session since that first one.
Right.
Because he saw the vision and he poured into it. And so like that was life-changing for me. That was a moment where I was like, God got me.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I think you said it best, man. There's something special about hard work.
Yeah.
But there's also something even more special about favor.
Man.
And how they go hand in hand. And I know that this grind, even though it's still somewhat in the beginning stages, bro, but you've hit some milestones, dog.
Milestones a little faster than I was expecting.
Yeah, man. And but I also know that this journey hasn't been easy. And I'm not even just talking about the session. Like, we could just talk about life, bro. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so, you've mentioned some pretty incredible things that God has been doing through your life. Yeah. But take me back. Take me back to those days where it wasn't looking pretty, where it was like, I don't know if I even want to do this anymore. Or it's like, yo, I don't think I can keep up.
Well, I had one of those recently, but we'll go back. Honestly, man, when I was out of college, so I didn't graduate. I left.
Let's start there.
That's where we go start.
Look, hey, no judgment from here. It took me 12 years to get my bachelor's, bro.
I left because I knew that the traditional style of learning wasn't necessarily for me. I feel like I'm a pretty intelligent guy.
If I do say so myself.
Sitting in a classroom just did not feed me. I was a hands-on person. I needed to see, feel, and be in the moment. And all I kept hearing was when you apply for stuff, well, you need 12 years of experience. Well, you need 6 years of experience. So what about the time that I just spent all this time in school? And I'm not knocking anybody that goes to college or feels college. I just knew that it wasn't for me. Now, there are moments where I do regret, or let me take that back. I don't regret not going to college. There are moments where I kind of be like, man, I want to finish.
Yeah.
But then I'd be like, okay, well, when am I gonna have time to do that? And I know everybody gonna say, oh, it's always time. You can do night classes and this, and I'm just be like, man, if you see what I see,
Yeah.
when am I gonna finish?
Shoot.
So back when I stopped the end of sophomore year. I think I did one semester of my junior year, half of it.
Yeah.
And I just was like, man, this is not for me. I'm not enjoying this. I'm not learning. And I really feel like God called me to do other things. And so I had went back to Houston. I was at Lamar University.
Okay. Yep.
LU. went back to Houston, and that's how I ended up coming to the Fountain of Praise.
Okay.
But even when I started at the Fountain of Praise, I started at a low position. I started as the youth choir director and went into the audio engineering. So I was doing both. And I wasn't making any money. I was broke.
Yeah.
And
Start there, bro.
I was kind of fed up because at the same time, I really wanted to get into music producing. And I kept clawing at things and nothing was happening.
Yeah.
I was trying, like I would fly out to LA and try to get an internship or, go do what people did back in the day and sit in the Universal office and all of that. Yeah, it didn't work.
Yep.
And I felt defeated, depleted. There were times where like I stopped because I played the piano as well. And I would stop playing the piano, something that gave me great joy, but because I just was like, nobody wants me to play the piano. Nobody wants me for my producing. People want me to run sound and go home.
Yeah,
and so it was a very low time for me because it was like, I'm not getting to do what I want to do.
Right.
And what I feel like God has called me to do. And I was like, am I even worthy to do it? Do I have enough skills? Am I good enough to do it?
Did you know what that was at that time? Like, because it sounds to me, hearing you talk, that you were somewhat self-aware. Like you had an idea of what this calling was, which is why you were frustrated when you were in school, which is why you were frustrated when you were in these different positions. Yeah.
It was development. I know what it is now, but in that moment, it sucked. I felt like, God doesn't show you everything. He's never going to show you the full picture. He's going to give you pieces and puzzles. And I would see more. And I'm like, no, it's not just this.
Yeah.
It's not just playing, for 10 kids at a youth church. It's not just doing sound for a wedding. Like it was more. And I struggled with that. And so I, instead of staying in my development, said, I'm going to take myself out of it and I'm going to push myself further. So I go and I do an event.
Okay.
Because I feel like, I got enough people. I got enough connections. Let me do an event.
Started feeling yourself. No,
I did. Well, it wasn't even I was feeling myself. I was like, you know what? I really just need to change.
Impatient?
I was very impatient. I was like, something got to give.
Yeah.
So I go and I put together this elaborate event. I rent a place that cost me $1,500.
Stop right there. You just told me you was broke.
I was.
Where'd you get this $1,500 from?
My uncle loaned me the money.
Here we go. Come on.
I rented a place, cost me $1,500. I, in essence, spent another $500, I think, in radio promo. And then DJ, all of that. So I think, in essence, I spent about $3,000 on this event.
If nothing else, you was good at raising capital.
Oh, I could do that.
You feel? Listen, but keep going, dog.
21 people showed up to a venue that fit 500. And then I was like, oh, yeah, you don't want me to do this. I felt defeated. I stopped. I was like, I'm not doing this no more. You're not going to embarrass me like this. And what it was I wasn't seeking God. I was trying to seek the level that I thought that I should be at.
Come on, let's be honest.
And he had to humble me.
Ooh.
And he humbled me.
Boy.
All that money gone. 21 people. And I really did. I felt so defeated. But it really was development.
Come on.
And I think we run away from that development stage so much just because we can see glimpses of what we want. But I'm cool with the development now, And now, honestly, I'm almost out of the development. Like, now I got to be up front when I was like, well, now I kind of want to be behind the scenes.
Right.
And God like, nope. I was trying to let you be behind the scenes back then, but now I need you out here. Somebody told me as a kid, to whom much is given, much is required. And I always felt like that was as much of a blessing a curse, because it always just kind of felt like, man, it's always so much required of me. But you know what? I thank God for the development, man.
Yeah.
And so I did. I had very low moments, man, where I really didn't think that I was worthy enough to do this, or I was talented enough for this.
Yeah, and now you're in a position to help others develop, right? You've created this incubator, if you will, for talent that are like right there on the cusp, bro. You know what I'm saying?
There.
You got some gifted, incredibly influential people who have these talents, and they're right there. Yeah. And you don't just put them on a platform, but you get them game, resources.
Everything, man.
And
everything that I have that I'm connected with, I try to spread it.
Yeah. And do you think that came out of that development phase for you?
I think so. I think that one of the things that I would have, as much as I was blessed and favored, I do wish that more people took me by the hand. And so now that I can, I do that.
Yeah.
I think I almost overcompensate with that. I to the point where sometimes I do have to be like, okay, I can't give everybody everything.
Come on, of course not.
I have to learn to pull back. But anything, I had an artist hit me up because they knew that, I had a connection with Keisha, K. Michelle, in her tour, and she was like, I want to open up for them. And so I did it, but I was like, well, was she ready for that? And I don't feel like she honestly was. And I know this is live, but I did tell her that. Like, I was like, I think next time let's work a little bit more before we put you out there.
Yeah.
Because they did it. They honored it. But now I'm working with her like, no, we got to get you ready for the tour, So, but yes, I do feel like me being so long in a development stage made me feel like I want to dedicate a lot more of my time of developing people and showing people the way.
Yeah. Now, man, I wrote a chapter in my book, bro, about humility of all things. And one of the analogies I use, because I used to go to a lot of Rockets games when I was a kid. Of course, growing up, Southwest A-Leaf, Texas, we didn't have a whole lot of money. No. You know what I'm saying? So you could imagine where we used to sit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, up at the top.
There you go, baby. That's where we watch the Rockets games. But every now and then, I keep my eye on them bottom rows, right? Yeah. And if I notice that nobody sat in that seat for a while, I'm sneaking my way down, right?
There. Might as well.
Yeah. But the most embarrassing thing in the world, bro,
is for somebody to tap you on the shoulder.
Oh, you get that tap on the shoulder? That's the worst, dog. And you got to make that walk of shame, right? It's the most embarrassing thing on the planet. But it's an entirely different thing, though, is when you're in the top and you get that winning, like to do at halftime. And they
bring you down.
And they escort you to the front row. They give you a jersey.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? They treat you like royalty. No doubt. That's different. Jesus talked about that too. Yeah. He's like, when you show up to a banquet, like, stop chasing the place of honor. Stop chasing that front row seat. He's like, there's nothing more embarrassing than to get there and then to be kicked out.
Man, John Gray told, I was at a sermon back when John Gray was preaching at Lakewood, and he was like, stay hidden.
Come on.
Why do you want to be out there so much? If they don't see you, stay hidden. He has you hidden for a reason.
Yeah.
And I had to take that hard, man, but stay hidden.
Yeah.
If it's taking some time, it's for a reason. Stay hidden. You might get out there, and they may start talking and something that may take you out of here. Your emotional stability may not be stable enough to take on what is out there. So stay hidden. Wait. So yeah, man, that's
During that hidden phase for you, bro, what was the biggest lesson you think you learned? Like, hindsight. Because like I know you said earlier, it was frustrating. It was difficult, probably depressing, embarrassing at times. 21 people showing up, I ain't even gonna lie. I know how that feels.
After spending $3,000.
Come on. And I'm pretty sure 2 or 3 of them people was the people that actually broke bread with you.
Yeah, no. About
What was
eight of
the
them was family.
Yeah, 8 of them was family. I love it. You know what I'm saying? But what was the biggest thing? Now that you looking back, bro, during that phase that God had you in, that incubator, that developmental phase, what do you think the biggest lesson was that you took from that?
That Second Corinthians says that, and I think verse 8, that his strength is made perfect in your weakness. And I felt weak then, but I didn't realize that that's God was like, let me handle it. Let me make the way. Why are you trying to bulldoze your way into everything?
Dog.
I got it.
Dog.
I told you what it is already, so why are you trying? And so that is actually one of my favorite scriptures. I go back to it all the time, that my strength is made perfect in your weakness.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
need you
Uh-huh.
to reduce yourself so I can be made large.
Bro, it takes so much pressure and anxiety and stress away from the situation when God is like, I got you. You know, I got you. But like you said, bro, we get impatient.
We do.
We get impatient. It makes me think of my kids. Like my son, his Xbox controller wasn't working. And it was something really simple, bro. I think it was like the batteries were flipped the wrong way. And I was like, dog, like plus goes with plus, minus goes with minus.
Yeah.
I'm like, just leave it alone until I get home. You know what I'm saying? Wait for daddy to get home. I know what to do to fix this thing, right? No. Do you think he listened?
No.
Do you think he waited?
No.
No, of course
Because
not.
he wanted to play.
I got home, the joint is like cracked open. I think there was water
Frustration.
damage. And now the problem that was going to be an easy fix, I couldn't repair it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Why do we do that, dog?
We do that, man. Just because, like I say, we think you can never outsmart God. And I think this microwave era that we're in, and this social media era, like I really am working on now.
Yeah.
29, about to go into 30 next month. I'm working on now, trying to pull away so much from social media.
Yeah.
Because we see these things, but a lot of it, what I've learned, especially being on this side of the industry, is fluff. It's smoke and mirrors.
Dog.
We think that these people are eating caviar every day, and they may be eating caviar on camera and about to go get a can of tuna the next day.
Listen.
You know? And so I
We
think...
can go get some ramen any day of the week, Isaiah. I'm just saying. Look.
Listen.
I'm not that far.
I'm not. And I don't think I've ever felt like I was above anything. I just kind of was tired of not having a seat at the table.
Right.
Which is also why I built the session. I was like, it's time to make my own table. You want so many people to open the doors for you. And sometimes God is like, that ain't what I called you to do. I didn't call you to walk through their door. Sometimes I called you to build your own. So, yeah,
What did he say in the Psalms? He'll prepare a table before
prepare a table before
in the presence of
your enemies. Yeah,
it's crazy.
And that's the thing, man. So I think we get so eager to get there, all because of what we see on social media. But I mean, honestly, it's not what people think.
Yeah.
It's 90% of it is smoke and mirrors.
Oh yeah.
And the ones that you actually don't see. Like you don't see Bill Gates just out there flipping and doing stuff, because he got it and he's secure in what he has.
Man, how do we manage this? Because I know this is something that you probably struggle with. We've had a couple conversations, but that contentment piece, right? Paul talks about being content in all things. I know how to live when I act as if I don't when I got it, but I know how to act as if I got it when I don't, right? Like, how do you maintain that balance, bro?
You maintain that balance by actually letting God lead. It's so crazy. I saw you had Pastor Keon on here a while ago. I went to the Cry Out conference. Mike Todd was talking about, what was he talking about? Seeking first the kingdom of God.
Come on, Matthew
he said
6:33. Let's go.
That's pretty much all that he's going to be preaching on until God calls him home.
Yeah.
Seeking first the kingdom of God. And I feel like we can't find contentment because we're not seeking God.
Yeah.
We're seeking the things that we think we should have, which is mostly material. That if we really look at what's happening to the world with mudslides and earthquakes and all the material that we built breaking down, we're not seeking God, because Mike Todd, the way he put it, you see God, everything else, it comes. you know? And so I feel like if we would be content if we actually let God lead. If we stopped and said, God, what is my day supposed to be?
Come on.
And these are the plans that I do have. But if they don't align with you, please make it clear.
Please.
Show me what you want. We'll be content.
Yeah.
Because God actually does have us. God is going to protect you everywhere he called you to be. Anywhere you're not, he is not obligated to protect you.
Yep.
If he called you to go to HEB at 3:00, but you decided to stay somewhere, he's not obligated to protect you anywhere else. Now, his grace is amazing.
It's sufficient.
Without it, we would be nothing.
Come on.
But I think that's where we kind of, it's actually way more simple than we give it credit for. Just let him lead.
Exactly.
That's it.
And make sure you at HEB at 3:00.
Sure
That's my happy place, bro. HEB is my happy place. I'm just saying.
That was my first job. First job.
The moment I heard them playing worship music, I was like, oh man,
HEB
like
is where
my produce is blessed.
HEB is where it's at, man.
They are not sponsoring this episode, by the way, but maybe soon. Matthew 6:33, though, that is my life verse, bro.
Man.
It's like if you get to the source, but like you said, we chase the resources.
And the
instead of the source,
are the thing that come from the source.
Dog, like
just chase the source.
Just chase it. He got it all. He got it all.
Man, I was so that Cry Out conference, man. I was so changed. I'll take this moment just to say thank you to Pastor Ken because I was so changed, and thank you to Michael Todd because I ain't gonna lie. When Michael Todd got up there and was like, "I'm not preaching like y'all think I'm about to," I was like, "No, I want you on the treadmill. Give me an example. I like them. Get where you in the boat in the water coming on stage. I want that, Mike." And he was like, "No, seek first the kingdom of God. Y'all keep asking for everything else. You want the car, the house, the husband, the wife. Seek God."
Dog.
And then he broke it down. He said, seeking is an active thing. You don't just look. You have to seek. To seek, you actually have to look under things. You have to change your perception, your perspective, all of that. I was like,
can we stop right there for a second?
Yeah.
Look, I was married for 14 years. One of the biggest frustrations that my kid's mom had with me, probably still to this day, is she would say, "Hey, go look for something." I would go look, bro. I promise you I would go look. Kind of, all right, boom. I can't find it. The worst thing ever for any guy in a relationship is for their significant other to go after you have looked for something and then find it in like 5 seconds or less. Now, my son, he searches for stuff like that as well. I'm like, "Hey, bro, go find, I need you to go grab the hairbrush or the book or, hey, go get my phone.
To the right.
Yes. And I'm like, did you flip over the sofa cushions? Did you move this? Like, no. There was no seeking involved. It was walking in, shuffling some stuff so that we can say
that we looked.
Just checking it off.
You can't fool God, though. If you're really not seeking him, you can't play him.
I'm telling you, bro.
You can't fool God.
Boys ain't out here really seeking. Showing up to church on Sunday ain't seeking. Trying to build this platform, the session, if you're just posting a couple posts here or there, that ain't seeking. Come on.
Realized I had to be active, man. It was so hard. And that one of the things I think I alluded to you before we even did all of this, man, that I quit in October.
Yeah.
A job that I actually did love. I loved working at the Fountain. It was easy. And I had a very caring concern for the membership. I was my final job title was production manager at the Fountain Praise. And I quit because God was like, "Hey, man, there's more I want to give you, but your hands are too full. So I need you to let this go."
Yeah.
He told me this. I said I quit in October. He told me this February of 2022. And it took me all the way to October because I was like, "Man, you ain't say that. God ain't say that."
Or not yet.
Yeah. Like I was just like, no, I don't believe it.
You're not gonna ask me to leave stability.
To leave stability? Leave the church?
What?
Your church? You don't want me to do that.
We as humans have an unbelievable ability to justify certain decisions and make them in our favor. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get what we want when we want
Let me
it.
tell you something.
If we really want to.
Every month I stayed there past the time that God said, I got more and more uncomfortable. Almost like an eagle pushes their babies out the nest. They keep making the nest more and more uncomfortable so they'll leave the nest and fly away. More and more. Things kept going wrong. I was feeling out of place. I was so frustrated. I was angry. And I was like, why? Why am I no longer getting joy from this? And it was like I trust me to take you to where I need you to. And I think a lot of times we're so afraid of embarrassing God or that God, I don't want to make a liar out of God.
Yeah.
God don't need you to do anything but what he said.
Bro.
And so if he said go out there and I'm gonna take care of you, go out there. And when I say I ain't missed a beat, matter of fact, have made more money.
Come on.
Been more stable, and I still am able to help and come back and consult and do things like that. But
Yeah. Because you didn't.
if I would have just listened, and you know, you sometimes you gotta bump your head. But yeah, so walking away from stability, that was a very hard decision. I was on salary.
Yeah.
That was a hard decision to let go.
You really give God the opportunity to be God.
To be God.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sitting over here trying to do what me as man think that I can create and do. And God, I know if I go work here for 40 hours, I can pull this home.
Look, here the plan, God.
This is
right?
the plan.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna organize this. I'm gonna structure it this way.
That ain't what
You
he
know,
asked for.
man.
And so I knew that he wanted me to take the session to another level.
Come on.
I knew, like, I ain't even mentioned, but like I manage Aja Walls, the Walls Group, and then other artists as well. But I knew that he wanted me to do other things and take things to another level. And I realized that I had to dedicate more time and more of myself to those things.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
You only have so much bandwidth to commit to the things that God needs, and when you start giving it away to other people, those become idols. And God is like, hold up, man. God's jealous, bro. God's jealous. I want to ask you two more things, man.
Yeah.
I ask everybody this, right? I don't care who you are. I want to know because in our world, especially in like hustle culture, you know, wake up at 3 a.m, gotta go get it, gotta grind, and I get it. Like you gotta work, man. Don't work, you don't eat, right? I'm not arguing with that. But there's also a spiritual component in there that when we allow God to be God, which you've clearly demonstrated, how has not your works, because they're there. Like we see you on the scene, bro, killing it all the time. How has your faith, like, propelled you to the success? Like, where's the evidence of your, like, oh man, I knew that this was not me, right? This was all God.
All of this was God. I always say this thing, you know, that my faith, I know God be like, dude, you leaning on me a little too much. I be like, I'm leaning on God.
I can't wait to hear God tell me that one day. I know.
Like, dude, now stand up. I lean on God. No, my faith has gotten me so far, man. I believe that it's put me in rooms. You know, the works and the evidence is one thing. But for God to see you as something so special, to place you in things that are for you, that means something. And for him to give you talents and things like that, that solidified my faith, man, to realize that I was equipped because of God.
Yeah.
Every talent, every skill, from me being the youth choir director at 10, from me teaching myself how to play the piano, all of those things put me in rooms that I needed to be in, and that expanded my faith because I was like, man, this ain't nothing but God. What are the odds that I run into these people and they're like, oh, yeah, no, you're a good dude. Come over here.
Yeah.
Nothing but God. And honestly, you know, I've had no choice but to lean on faith, man. Because like I say, this is a scary walk to be out here in a full entrepreneur stance.
Not only full entrepreneurship, that's scary enough, but entrepreneurship in the music industry.
In the music industry,
bro.
And the music industry is not nice. It's not candy cane. They may look pretty and shiny.
They don't care about
award shows,
you being no Christian man of faith. Look,
absolutely not. And I'll say this and leave it at that. Even in the Christian side of the music industry, it's just as cold.
Come on.
honestly, I've had some better experiences on the secular R&B hip hop side.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just as
It
cold
is what it is on that side.
because
Like,
it's yeah, but it's man run.
yeah.
I tell people that all the time. You're working with man. That's why you have to lean on God to soften people's hearts and to guide you around all of the obstacles. If you don't lean on him, then now you're in a place where you're stuck at a brick wall
Right,
and asking
right.
God to get you out of a
Because what he say,
situation.
I'm sending you out like sheep amongst wolves.
And they're
Be
out there.
wise as serpents, but meek as doves.
And they're out there.
Come on.
So no, I ain't got to punch you. I ain't got to cuss you out or anything like that. But God will. God gave me great discernment, so I can see it immediately and either choose to be in my flesh and try to poke the bear and keep going, or do as I know I should do, back away and say this isn't the route for me.
I know that's right.
But my faith, man, my faith. I always tell people I was the weird kid that loved church at like 3, 4. I got baptized at 4.5. Like I was the kid that loved church.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go to children's church.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to be in the main service. I always loved it. And so it put something in me that was real strong. And I believe that's why you're able to work for it. I was able to work for a church. I think anybody who works for a church, faith is very deep.
Oh yeah, it's different.
Because you still working with people. And so you have to look past people and say that God is still bigger than this.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, man.
Yeah, man. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Man, what's next for the session? What's next for the session?
Man. So, March 16th, we have a live event. I finally get to do live
That's what I was, yeah, man. Which I
that
still
was what
haven't.
it's supposed to be. You still ain't made it. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's all right.
I know you still love us.
Look, I'll be there, bro. I promise you I will.
March
If I have
16th. March 16th, we're doing a live event at the House of Blues. This is the second one. I did an R&B jam the end of December. And so this is an R&B jam at the House of Blues. Just feel good music. I invite like some of the dopest creators that I know to sit on the couch with me and we just sing.
Oh.
The audience sings. And it's a good feeling, man. This last one that I did, it was we had a moment. I kept telling myself, I said, man, R&B really ain't nothing without gospel. People could say what they want to say, but R&B ain't nothing.
Look, you ain't gonna get no argument from me.
The chords and the songs that make people be like, "Ooh, I feel that." That ain't nothing but gospel chords. Those melodies, though that scale, all it, nothing but gospel. And so I was telling Tyrone when we were working on putting the show together, I said, for the December show, I said, man, I want to add gospel to it. I said, I know it's going to kind of be weird, but let's do a segment where we just do gospel. Kim Burrell was in there. Brian Courtney Wilson was in there. It was a couple people that were
powerhouses, yeah.
David Michael Wide.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm going to get them to come up. Now, honestly, Brian did, but I didn't really reach for anybody else. But we did a gospel segment, man. And I didn't think I was going to get the room back. Them people didn't want to leave it alone. It changed and shifted the room so much that I was like, we got to do a whole separate one. So March 16th, we're going to do the R&B jam. But April 2nd, Palm Sunday, I'm doing a gospel jam.
Let's go.
Because
we going to be in town April 2nd, right?
April 2nd.
Okay, cool. I just got to check.
April 2nd. But yeah, April 2nd, I'm going to do a gospel jam. March 16th is a Thursday. April 2nd is a Sunday. I'm going to do the Sunday one in the evening. I'm going to have my guy, Devon, who's a very dope guy, do like a 15, 20-minute talk. But I'm going to make it something really dope, just as dope as the R&B jam is.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and I'll be very frank. I thought that I really wanted to be in the R&B realm.
Right.
And it's not that I don't still want to be in the R&B realm.
Sure.
But I think gospel, I was kind of running from gospel.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I was like, man, I've been in church my whole life. I want to do R&B. And like, I kept hitting walls with that. But gospel is clearly like God, like, I want you to do that too.
Yeah.
I may let you do a little R&B, but I want you in this gospel avenue. And so that's what it's been for me, man. Like, literally, I can't do one without the other. So I'm doing an R&B jam on March 16th, and I'm doing a gospel jam on.
You know what it sounds like?
What?
Matthew 6:33. Seek first the kingdom of gospel. And all them other things, the R&B joints, maybe some other things,
I'll let you have.
will be added unto you.
I'll let you
right?
have. Yep.
It's going down.
It's going
Bro,
down, man.
I appreciate you, man, for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate you for letting me kick it with you on all the sessions and letting me learn as I go. And I've got to say this too, man, just from watching you from afar, studying you and observing the session, man, I've stolen a lot from you, dog. I've learned to steal like an artist.
There's no stealing, man.
I know, right?
It's open.
Yeah.
It's open. I mean, everything. Like, people could say that the session is like Tiny Desk or
Yeah,
Coders.
man.
It's no stealing. It's
Nope.
all inspiration.
Yeah.
You know, and you just, you form it how you see it.
There you go.
So, yeah.
I just wanted to say that publicly, bro.
I
A lot of the
appreciate that,
creative stuff that I've developed, I've watched from afar. You know, I pull from a lot of places, and I gather a lot of inspiration from you in the session and just hanging out with you, bro.
I really do. I appreciate that, man. And I appreciate you even allowing me to be on this, man.
It's going down.
Thank you, man.
It's going down, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We have just broke down the breakthrough with one of Houston's finest, Isaiah, from the session. It's going down. We'll see you next week.